accept. Uh, uh, uh. Okay, there you
There,
go. Oh my goodness.
sorry, you know what? First, I'm old, and second, I never was live on Instagram. So
This
when you send me
exactly.
the request, I had to go in my parameters and allow Instagram to do this and do that. So here I am. I'm sorry for doing it.
I was literally saying that. I said, you know what? I feel like nowadays, whenever I don't know how to figure something out, I feel old. Like, is it? I'm like, my first thought is like, how can I fix it? Am I getting that old where I don't understand how technology works?
Well, I'm old, and you're actually my first live interview, so like my phone was just not ready to deal with that.
No problem, man. Anyway,
Thank you
thank
for
you for
having me.
joining. My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you.
So again, for those who just joined us, first of all, thank you very much for everyone who's here.
Yeah.
Um, who knows? Everybody's around the world doing their thing, and we appreciate that you guys taking the time to join us. So again, I'm doing this live with Martin, which his artist name is Dad of the Year. He just released on Magician on Duty his EP Love, which I'm very happy and very proud of it. And I wanted to, find out a little bit more about him. You know, have him tell a little bit about his story, his love for the music, and how the release came about.
That
So,
that's
Martin,
very cool of you. Thank you for having
my
me.
pleasure.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure to do all this with you. This release has been a milestone for me on many level. First of all, because you're actually the first one I ever wrote to ask to give a demo and to ask if it was possible to release. That was back in, I think, 2018. You were one of the very few that were gracious enough to even answer. I was very much trying to understand how it was working, and you said, one day, Martin, keep sending me stuff, and maybe one day it will work out. And it finally did. So for me, it was a milestone being on Magician on Duty, because I was aiming at that since 2017, 18.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of people emailing me about music, and I try to reply to everyone, but now it got to a point where I can't reply to everybody.
Awesome.
However, I will listen to everybody's music, and if I feel like either the artist has potential, then either if they have potential, or the sound that they have, the sound is great, quality is great, but it's not something that I actually like. I mean, I like to like, but this is the way I see it. There's music that I like, and there's music that I'm obsessed with.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
as a label and as an artist, I will try to my best to just sign music that I'm obsessed with.
Yeah,
Like you listen to a track and you just like
you
listen to it
play
another
it and you
50
play
times.
it and
And
you play
sometimes
it.
I have to
Yeah,
stop myself, because I know that if I listen to it too much, I'm gonna get bored of it. So
yeah,
the idea is that obviously it's very hard as a record label, I'll tell you this, to just sign quote bangers, or
yeah,
sign every single release to be every single track to be extremely special. I mean,
yeah.
we can try to do that, but it's just not it's not a
Mhm.
reality. So that's why, I had actually, you're also one of the few artists that keep sending me music, and a lot of times I say, look, your sound is great, this track in particular, or these tracks are not for me,
Yeah,
but I would love to find out, to be in touch with you, and if you send me something and I love it, then I would love to work with you. So
yeah.
I'm
And I,
glad I'm
and
glad
I,
you
I
I'm
think it's
glad you.
funny.
No, but I'm very happy, and a lot of people don't know, but it takes a lot of humility to be that way, and I'm very grateful that most of the artists are like that, because this is it's hard. I understand that it's very hard when you get a no. We don't want to be rejected in anything. Now with music, now with life,
It's
now with
very hard.
relationships. So when somebody tells you no, um, it's hard for a lot of people, but I always try to remind people that it's actually a positive thing,
Yeah,
and also music is very personal, you know. Like everything in life, not everybody's gonna like you. Not everybody's gonna like all your music, and it's okay. You just have to accept that. And you know, maybe whatever you send me was not for me, but then you send it to somebody else, and they
Yeah,
are just obsessed with it.
they're blown away. Yeah, exactly. But I think what's really funny, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when I started producing again in 2017, 18, I was really into this melodic house, you know, All Day I Dream, the birds, you know, the happy feelings. So, so Magician of Beauty was a bit like that at that moment. And
Absolutely.
so when I released that, when I sent you that kind of stuff, I think you were already elsewhere. And it's funny because we actually was going in the same direction because you were I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were going more like down tempo and, you know, maybe darker stuff, more
Yes,
stuff,
yes,
more
yes,
obscure
yes.
stuff. And I was going that way too, but I was maybe a little bit behind, like maybe a few months behind, you know. So it's funny that the style, um, that you went in the direction of, I was going in that direction as well, and that we finally get to meet again, but in a completely different style and genre, you know.
That's
So
so
I think that, like,
beautiful, and
you know, we were like-minded people.
yeah, and I like the fact for as an artist, like I that's why you know, when I was releasing a couple of years ago, like the more melodic, more organic, more dreamy stuff, and I released that for a while, and then you know, for me as an artist, I always dig deeper. I always try to explore new things and listen to new music and be exposed to other types of music. And I'm always in search for something else. You know, like
Yeah,
it's just the way I am. I don't really feel like I need to stick with one thing. So, but what happened is that for a year or 2 years, I just like that mood and energy and style, and
sure.
I released music like that. But then it took me years to change people's mind about that image. I
Yeah,
still have people sending me right now demos in that style, and
yeah,
I try to tell them, like, guys, I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore. And
fully
and
understand.
actually, what was it? Last night, I sent an email to a producer, and I said, look, I'm not doing this anymore. However, I'm doing this, and then if you ever produce something like that, send it to me, and we'll talk.
Exactly.
But yeah, so look, I'm super happy that we got to work together. And
Yeah,
first of all, I wanna say something that is, I feel like it's very important. Um, I've been doing this for quite some time. I would say altogether, even before the Magician of Judy, I would probably say like 12 years. Running labels probably for 9 years. And I think you're one of the few artists that was super, super involved with the release and working hard alongside to promote it.
yeah.
And I want to say thank you for that, because
Well,
there's a lot of artists. I mean, not to say anything bad about anybody, but the thing is that a lot of artists believe that, you know, once they sign a track to a label, then hey, you do your job and I don't have to do anything.
mhm.
And it's not really true. And I understand nobody has all the skills for marketing,
Yeah.
for social media, or for this. Or some people I know. I mean, I have a release right now with an artist from Germany, has no social media at all,
Mhm.
which is fine. It's his
Yeah.
choice. But I feel like I said in my last, I did an interview about signing music on a label. The episode is on YouTube. But I said it like, I care about your music, but you need to care more about your music because it's yours. You made it.
Yeah.
You spent
Yeah.
hours. You spent who knows months on productions and this, and maybe you spent 10 years on learning all the skills and everything.
Yeah.
And you need to care about your music more than I do. So what I'm trying to say is that if you put in the work alongside with the label,
Yeah.
and you are showcasing and you're proud, you are posting about your music, it's not like, I wouldn't even call it self-promotion.
Yeah.
It's basically you showing the world what you created and you being proud of it because it's the fruits of your labor, you know? So
Yeah.
again, I just want to say thank you for literally being on top and being supportive. And I was very pleasant surprised to see these things coming from an artist, and hopefully I will still have artists that will like to work in this way.
Well, I can't give you back the props because I already told you that in terms of label relationship, you put the bar very, very high, because it was the first time that I was so involved into even, deciding the cover, or, just sharing what artists and remixer I love. And I really felt that we did this together. I really felt that you put care and love into this as like it was your own track. And it's a win-win situation where we work so good together that we elevate each other. I'm super happy to be on Magician on Duty. It opens a lot of doors, and on my side, I'm going to give you everything I can,
Thank you.
to elevate each other. Because there's some labels where you just send stuff and they say, okay, we'll distribute it, and that's the relation. It's just that. And that's fine. You cannot expect to have like super intimate collaboration with everybody. But I felt with you that, throughout these months, that it was nourishing. I don't know if the word nourishing applies well here because I'm French, but it was fulfilling, to be able to talk and give feedback and hey, what do you think about that remix? Oh, it's fucking great. I'm so excited. And I really felt you were with me throughout all this process. And obviously when you talk about professionalism, it is the club industry and the music industry obviously is a bit of a dodgy market, but throughout my 25 years of DJing, I was always working. I was doing visual effects, working on Star Wars, working on Lord of the Rings, working at Lucasfilm. I was working 60, 70 hours a week. And then I was playing on weekend. I was working in California and taking the plane on Friday, come and play in Montreal, and I was at my desk on Monday. So, I'm a crazy guy.
With
I'm
sunglasses.
a crazy guy. Obviously, I was sober because it's impossible to work as much, being I'm a really lucid person. But I work really hard, but that professionalism of leading team and supervising team and deadlines and, exec production, and release date, I really understand it. So for me, working with somebody professional is very, very a peace of mind because I'm really on top of my things,
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, it's like I said, it's very nice when there's a good connection. And in terms of what you said about collaborating, I want the artist to be as involved as possible because again, it's your creation, it's your baby, and I want you to be happy.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing that I say to every artist that I work with. I want you to be happy. I want you to have a say in everything. It's your baby. Like at the end of the day, I'm your promoter. I'm your hype man.
Yeah. But you actually care because you will take time to write poems and you will time to really listen. And even the mix I gave you, the Journey series mix, you didn't just say, hey guys, there's a mix. You actually listened to it and you wrote something that was intelligent, that was heartfelt. So I feel that you're very, very engaged with all the material you're releasing,
Thank you. I mean, the whole idea is I want to do something special, that's why with everything I do with the covers, with the poetry, I want it to be something inspiring and something that people would look and listen and say, wow. So my goal is wow. I know I can do wow all the time, but you know what? If I can do wow every now and then I'm happy.
Exactly.
I see some of the artists are here in the chat, if I'm not mistaken. I saw Joe Carl, who.
Hey, by the way, thank you everybody, all the remixers on that EP. I mean, I really know where I stand. My first real releases were last year, and although I've been in the game forever, as a producer or in the eyes of the world, I'm really a rookie. So that Land House and Joe Carl and Amu Amu and Narek and Matija and Richard L. Cox, they all accepted like within a day,
That was
right? We were like,
such a
what the
funny.
fuck?
Yeah, we have to say we have to explain what happened there.
Yeah,
So I don't normally. I mean, for people that follow the label, we don't. I don't do 4, 5, 6 remixes on a release. I think it's overkill.
yeah,
But from my experience, a lot of times when you contact people to be part of a release, not everybody will be available, and not
yeah,
everybody would want to remix, or maybe sometimes the artist, they don't like the track. So what happened? I think we overextended, in a good way, because I don't know. I think I mailed probably 10 artists first,
yeah,
and then 5 of them got back to us right away and say, hey, we want to be a part of it. So
yeah.
for a
Within
second I
hours,
was like, okay, that might be
a
crazy.
problem.
But then all the artists that got back to me were the artists that I actually wanted to work with
Yeah,
for a long time,
yeah,
and I was a big fan of their sound.
yeah,
So it was like more or less, it was an easy situation. I was like, okay, 5 people want to remix a track. Okay, let's do it.
yeah,
Whatever. Fuck it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's
I was
fine.
blown
And
away. I was blown
yeah,
away, and I mean, just the fact that they put their name on this and they backed me up, and they just said, they trusted me and you. And a lot of, well, most people don't know the story, but the thing is, when I started producing again, I was doing like 120 BPM melodic house, because I was very inspired by a track by Modd called Stellar, which
mhm.
is still one of my favorite tracks of all time. Uh, but I don't think I was going anywhere with that style, and because I always played techno, I always played really, really dark and trippy techno. So
I
I
mean, at
went
the end
back
of
to
the day,
my
down
roots.
tempo is pretty much,
I wasn't even doing down tempo.
yeah,
No, exactly.
but it's
And
like, the you like the techno. If you slow down techno,
it's
that's your down
amazing.
tempo. I
Slow
mean,
down techno is
you take a
amazing.
125 track, either techno or melodic,
Yeah,
and you slow it down at 110 or 115, it
yeah,
will blow your mind.
yeah.
And I actually, a long time ago, I discovered this thing, and I can't say who did it, where, but I would say more probably somebody in Germany,
Yeah.
because from a lot of German producers and DJs, I a couple of years ago, I randomly just listening, I was listening to some tracks that I knew they were 125, 126, and
Yeah,
they were played at 110 and 113, 115, and it just sounded
yeah.
incredible. So
And that's the beauty of down tempo. And the story is that the reason why I went down tempo is because of Landhaus. He did this release on Amstelcom that I fall in love with, and
yeah,
I start pitching down and pitching down and pitching down. And I love techno. I was playing with Tommy 47 with the CLR guys. I love techno. But at 130, 140, it sounds to me very old techno, like that squarish.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't interest me anymore. But when you slow it down a lot, you realize that there's so much space in between the kick and the snare and the hi-hat to actually put a lot of details and interesting thing. Instead of just having the kick, the hi-hat, and going really fast and just like on
Yeah,
top, like a synth on top, then you realize that you have a lot of room to work with, and you can go with really, really hard sounds. Like if you listen to Urem and Sitka and Flavy, and
yeah,
they play really hard sounds, but it's slowed
yeah, yeah.
down. And
Yeah,
also,
it creates space. I think like that was the thing, is if,
exactly,
when you listen to their tracks, it's like widen the range and
exactly,
everything. And not only that, you widen the range, but then every single element is very impactful, and that's
exactly,
why it sounds so fat. Like I actually,
exactly.
I have a I have a playlist where I play that I literally call it booty clap, with
Okay,
stuff like that, because it's like, so like you get down and you want to just shake your ass,
so hard. It's so hard. And the other great thing as a DJ for down
Billy,
tempo.
my dog is going
Oh,
crazy.
I
Hey,
have dogs too. Yeah, no problem. So the other great things I found about down tempo is that, for me, it's not sustainable to do a whole night techno at 120, 130, 140. At one point, people get burned, and at one
yeah.
point, like at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., you have to go into some sort of introspection and cool down a bit.
And
And
ask yourself, who are you? What's it? What?
And what I like about down tempo is that you can still play very hard. You don't have to go soft. But people think it's still banging,
Yeah,
but it's not. You're at 105. And people will go and say, no, at 105 I cannot dance. Yes, you can dance. Because if I lock you in there with hard sounds at 105, I can push your night to 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and you will still feel that it's peaking. It's just the tempo that went down, you know?
yeah.
So you can still drive a crowd pretty energically
Oh yeah, absolutely.
further into the
Absolutely.
night. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's beautiful, man. Again, it's so interesting how life works, and like you said, you contacted me a couple of years ago. We had a little chat, and the timing was not right. And like a lot of times, you know, sometimes the timing is not right, and it's good not to force it.
Yeah.
And then you never know how things will end up in the future, and whatever collaboration, whatever project you wanted to have, if it happens organically, it's just such a incredible thing, you know.
Exactly.
You get sparks and everything works. You get to that point where you're in the flow, and everything works, and that's what happened with this release, and I'm super excited about it. So yeah, the release was came out last Friday. We got a nice Beatport front page feature on Organic House and Downtempo. I want to say thank you to Proton Distribution and Beatport for that, for always supporting us with that. I think we got some really nice charting on Spotify too. For those who are listening to us, you can actually go to my bio and you will see the link in bio. And there's like a master link for Dad of the Year Love. And when you click on that, it's going to take you to different services like Spotify, like SoundCloud, like Beatport. If you're a DJ, if you want to, you know, get your track, one of the tracks from the EP, because basically there's six tracks, and there are so many different ranges. There's a track for everything. There's a track that you can close the night with, you know, in a total euphoria.
Yeah.
There's one for opening. There's one for everybody, and that's why I really like this release, because normally if I have an EP and the artist wants remixers, I would like that release to showcase different moods and hopefully different genres, more or less.
Of course.
Where there's like a basket of chocolate with different things, you know, that people can pick different things, and I like that. Like that's why the last compilation that I did with Andy and Philip from Germany was kind of like that. It was just 8 tracks, and they're all pretty much different, and that's so great.
That release is so good.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that was also pretty much about a year of work, me and Andy and Philip together. And at a certain point, I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit frustrated about how things go, and I was about to cancel the whole project. But then Andy and Philip, they're like, "God, just have a little bit more patience. It's gonna work out. So just let it be." And they convinced me to just take a step back, which is always great. And in the end, it was a great result. But anyway, let's. I think we've been chatting for quite a while. Again, I want to say thank you for being part of the label. Thank you for supporting me with the release. I'm super excited about your future productions, future events. Hopefully, we'll get to play together and meet together in person. We haven't done that yet.
Would love to. I don't think this is the end of the collaboration.
No, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. This is just
but I know, and I really respect that. You told me, you know, that you like to work with different people. You don't often release the same guy, if not ever. And for me, there has been a before Magician of Duty, and there's an after Magician of Duty. It's really like a milestone. And thank you for just putting so much love and effort into it. And you know, you're leaving me if we don't see each other again with a really beautiful feeling about how this release came true and how everything went down.
Thank you so much. That was my goal from the beginning. So yeah, we'll see each other in the future. Actually, look, you were mentioning that, and I said that too. But in terms of like never releasing again from the same artist, never say never.
Never, no, no.
I actually have two artists that are coming back,
Cool.
and I just signed an artist that sent me two EPs, and I had to sign them both.
Okay.
So,
Well, never say never.
never say never, but yeah, next year looks a bit crazy already. I have about 10 releases.
Wow.
So I will see how I'm gonna manage that. I mean, I'm gonna manage it, but the music is just good, and I am not gonna say no to good music, So, but anyway, thank you very much for
Thank you for having me, Adrian. Really
everyone that joined us. I see there's a couple of people still watching us. Thank you guys for your support. Really appreciate you. Much love, and I'll chat with you soon.
Thank you. Man. Sorry for the delay and the
No, you're fine.
technical
Fine.
fuck
All right,
ups.
let's
Thank you.
Take care.